Separated. No, we can't stay one BBC Radio 1 Extra, Jam Supernova. You just heard Oshi was Separated, obviously a little refix, a little resample of Avant. And he is my special guest today. You know I've got a passion for producers, and Oshi being one of the producers that I want to spotlight, who is absolutely going to blow up in 2016. And right about now, he's sitting in opposite me. Oshi is in the building.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Do you know what? I'm so glad that we managed to make this happen, because I know that you are in high demand right now, and it's just imminent that you will be like blowing up. So I wanted to get you nice and early.
Well, I'm here, and I'm queer, and we're about to have fun.
Yes, ready. Okay, so for those that don't know Oshi, break us down who you are and what you do.
Okay, so I'm a curly-headed weirdo that likes to make sounds on my laptop, basically, and put them on the internet for people to listen to.
Amazing. I mean, you built a career from, making beats and putting them on SoundCloud, and you built up a massive following. And what actually got you into production in the first place?
To be honest, to be frank, it was an Inspector Gadget remix. An Inspector Gadget drum and bass remix.
Wow.
That I heard on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, let me try to recreate this. Obviously, it was terrible because it was my first beat, but that's what got me into music.
Yeah.
Inspector Gadget.
I like that. So something from like a childhood, sort of thing that you're into, then to hearing it at a drum and bass remix, because drum and bass remixes everything that there possibly could be, and it always goes off. And then then it leads to you making your own stuff. And you're only 17.
Yeah.
How old was you when you first you downloaded your first bit of software and started making beats?
I think I was 11.
Wow.
Maybe 12, I don't know.
Did you play any instruments before that?
None.
Wow.
I used to mess around with them. I'd pick up a guitar and play one chord and think I was Beethoven or something, but I didn't play any instruments.
Yeah, and do you find it easy, even though you haven't come from, say, a musical background, sort of grasping, do you think it's made you a better producer in that you can graft it in a different kind of way?
I think having no musical background has just made me more free to create whatever I want. Because people with musical backgrounds, they usually come from a certain genre or a certain style. And I don't have a certain genre or style, so I just go all out and make whatever, to be honest.
In the last couple of years, are there any producers that really stand out as someone that you have been inspired by, even if you've gone back, even if they're not even from your time zone?
Okay, we've got to get this one out of the way first, because I always say this, but Mr. Carmacked, he is my top inspiration, and I met him when I was in LA, and I almost cried. It was amazing. But other than Mr. Carmacked, I'd say Trinada, Timbaland definitely. He's up there. I want to meet Timbaland. I want to get on a first name basis where I can just call him Tim. Hey Tim.
What's poppin'?
No, but there's Trinada, Mr. Carmacked, Timbaland, and J Dilla,
yeah.
Of course.
That's such a broad spectrum, and I like that you've got this sort of heritage people like your Timbalands and like your J Dillas, but then because you are 17 and they're so up front, Mr. Carmacked, Trinada, people forget that they have inspired the next wave of producers, of young producers. Is there any beat that you wish you would have made?
M.a.a.d City by Kendrick Lamar.
If Pyros and Crips.
That beat goes off. I'm sorry, it's been out for how many years now? 4, 3, however many years, and it still goes off. I still shake my head violently when it comes on. I'm just yeah, I love that song.
So we are chopping it up, chatting right now on BBC Radio 1 Extra with the young buck Oshi, the next generation producer who's gonna blow up in 2016 for sure. So we just played M.a.a.d City, Kendrick Lamar. That was a record that you wish you would have produced.
Yeah.
I don't think you're that far off producing a record like that still.
I want a platinum record. I want 10 Grammys and 5 million trillion. Nah.
Have you heard of Wonder Girl?
I have heard of Wonder Girl.
I mean, at 16, she got picked up by Kanye West and was suddenly, producing. So I don't think that's, you can definitely hit those goals for sure. Now, you did start your journey on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
It's been quite instrumental. How would you say the internet has helped you?
The internet is amazing and terrible at the same time. That's what I believe, because there's people on there that just hate for no reason, but at the same time, the internet has made me what I am today, basically. If I didn't have a stable internet connection, I don't think I'd be in this room right now. But no, the internet is, the internet's good. It's not good. I'm undermining it. The internet is amazing. I met so many people. I've met most of my friends now through the internet, and we make a lot of music. I met my friend Jamal through the internet. I met most of the people I'm in my record label now with, like the one I started with a couple of my friends, Chris and Benjamin. Yeah, I'm in that with them. So, I mean, like, not to drag it on, but the internet is amazing.
Yeah.
Long story short, the internet is
I hear that.
brilliant.
And how do you deal with sort of the negative sort of comments that you can get? I mean, like, I you know, I've been called everything under the sun. I can hands up say like, jamz is so ugly. Oh my God, why is she still talking? You know, you do get it. So how do you deal with those sort of comments?
Honestly, usually I go into an all-out, because it's mainly on Twitter. I usually go out into an all-out. It's not an actual brawl, but I just do it for fun because seeing people hate on me just means that I'm obviously doing something to affect their lives. So I usually go out into an all-out brawl on Twitter. It's not serious. It's never serious. It's just a parody of what an actual argument would be. But most of the time, I just take it lightly. It's nothing that bothers me really.
Yeah, it doesn't affect your bank account. Tell me the first track on SoundCloud that really popped off for you. You're like, whoa, oh my God, people around the world listen to me.
That was definitely I Heart You. Definitely.
Tell me the story behind the track.
Okay, so I was 15. I was sprung in love, in quotations, obviously. And I decided to make a song for a girl that I was in a quote-unquote relationship with. And it just turned out to be something popped off, I guess. I mean, I guess it was the first track where I put actual emotion and feelings into it, so that might be one of the reasons why it popped off like it did.
I Heart You on BBC Radio 1 Extra by Oshi is my producer guest today, and we are sort of breaking down and chopping up your production. And you said that was the first record that sort of popped off. And it's kind of weird that you said that you had feeling in it, which is kind of why it connected. I think, you know, a lot of people forget that it has to come from a genuine place.
Yeah. A lot of people are just putting music out there, and like you can tell when it has like no feeling behind it. Because I mean, the song could be full. It could have like 808 clap, kick, snare, synth, vocals, but it still sounds empty because you can just tell. I mean, it's probably from a producer's standpoint, but you can just tell when a track has no feeling behind it because it just feels empty and generic and following a line that is already set and paved, I guess.
For sure. People love this question. What do you produce on?
FL Studio. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to promote FL Studio like hell out here because FL Studio is the boss man program out there.
See, I've never heard of this one, I'm not going to lie.
You've never heard of FL Studio?
No, people are going to be like, you've not heard of this.
Have you ever heard of Fruity Loops?
I've heard of Fruity Loops.
Fruity Loops is FL Studio. Nobody gets that, not even my mum.
Oh, really? Okay.
Shout out my mum, by the way. Shout out my mum.
Big
Mumsy.
up D.
Safe for birthing me, innit? Love you. But yeah, FL Studio.
Okay, so Fruity Loops is FL Studio. Yeah. Do you know what? I heard that, a lot of people sort of moved on from Fruity Loops, but there's a lot of people that have stayed on it. Even like Dot Rotten, I've heard that still uses Fruity Loops. Yeah. And what's sort of like how would you start a track? Would you start with the drums, or then would you bring in vocals, or how would you start?
That's where I get a bit iffy because sometimes I start with a synth or a melody, or next day I'll start with drums. It's just like it always differs. I mean, I guess that's why most of my tracks sound different, I suppose, because like whenever I start, it's never the same thing. One day I'll start with vocals, and then the next day I'll be like, let me delete those vocals and start again with a synth, and then add the vocals again. It's a really weird process. I don't know how I came up with it, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me, so that's how it works.
Yeah. And remix culture is so big in our sort of scene. Do you have to kind of be careful how many remixes you put out and how much original music you put out at the same time? Yeah.
Like I think SoundCloud gives you 3 strikes. I currently have like 5. Ooh. I don't know how I'm still up there. Like you have to definitely if you're gonna remix a track, make sure the original sample, the original vocals or whatever are like barely recognizable because SoundCloud will hunt you down, Sony will hunt you down. The thing is, I don't want to be a remix artist. I know that's how some people got big and everybody's in my ear like, yeah, do remixes, you get money for it, it's easy money, But at the same time, I don't want to compromise my integrity just because it's money. That's not what I'm about. So like, I mean, if I'm gonna remix a track, I'm gonna remix it so much that it is like completely different from
Like your Avant.
Yeah. Like I just took the vocals out of that actually and just put down a completely different beat. So I wouldn't even class it as a remix. I'd just class it as a
sample.
Yeah.
And how long does it take to go from like the process of being, say you start making remixes because you know you already have the body of work there to sort of play and manipulate with. How long does it take to get the transition to then making completely your own track?
Depends on the day. Sometimes it's like 5 minutes, and the next day it's like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Depends on my inspiration levels, which is weird again about me. I have like different levels of inspiration, which I can just tell what I'm gonna be in during a day. Like I'll wake up and I'll be like, yeah, you're not gonna make a good beat today, but I'll still try, and it'll end up sounding doo-doo, but it's all good.
The 100,000 files on your laptop that never see the light of day.
There's like a trillion gazillion files on my laptop that will never see the light of day and will ruin my career for the rest of my life if
Not
they ever came
even.
out.
They talk about that, about being productive, just carrying on making the beats. I want to play another record that popped off on SoundCloud for you. What do you want to play?
I Carmacked Bastille.
Tell me about the record.
When I was making it, had no idea it was going to pop off. It was just one of those throwaway tracks that I wanted to put up on SoundCloud so that I just stopped working on it and got rid of it and it stopped wasting my time. It was a remix of Bastille, what is it? Rhythm of the Night. I put it up on SoundCloud, fell asleep, woke up the next day and it was like 1,000 likes. I was like, okay, that's different from me, seeing as I only have like 3,000 followers. And then over the course of like 10 days, it just kept blowing up and I was like, oh my God, what is going on? I'm scared. And then
People are watching me.
seriously, I was scared. I was like, oh my God, what are people thinking of this? And then I looked through the comments and it was all nice comments and I was like, oh, this is crazy. Because this blew up more so than I Heart You. Yeah, I just didn't expect it. It was crazy.
I Carmacked but still on BBC Radio 1 Extra. I'm chatting with the amazing young producer Oshi right now, someone that I'm predicting to be massive in 2016. And we talk about hits a lot, and we talk about plays and, you know, what popped off for you. Do the numbers now, how do you feel when you get like, you know, 100,000 plays on a track?
Before I used to care a lot. I used to refresh and check my plays every day. But I mean, as time went on and I grew as an artist, so to say, they just stopped like having meaning. So I just see it and I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Obviously, like I appreciate it's not like a thing where I'm taking it for granted or anything. But no, I appreciate every single play that I get. But I mean, like to me, it's not about the plays, it's about
Quality.
Yeah.
Sure. And you've done something amazing, which has started your own movement, Film Noir. I love what you guys do. No, I really do. Tell me about the crew, who's in the crew, and what are you trying to achieve with it?
We're trying to achieve world domination. To be bluntly honest, we're trying to take over every single industry there is. There's the movie industry, we're going to take over movies, music, fashion, all of it. No, but there's me, Chris and Ben, and we were the ones that started it. Well, Chris and Ben started it. They recruited me right as they started putting it up as an actual thing. And originally there was 4 members. There was me, Chris, Ben, and my friend Arnie, and he makes amazing music. So we were just there like, okay, so what do we do now? And Chris suggested that we put up a track to introduce ourselves, which was my track, Thank You. And it got well received, I guess, because at this time, this was like the time when I started growing, and so people were paying attention to me more so than they are now or before. So we put that up, we got a lot of good reception, and then it started popping off, which is when we started introducing different people. There's to be honest, there's a lot of us, and we're just trying to, like I said before, we're just trying to take over.
Yeah.
World domination. So there's vocalists, there's people who sing, people who rap, there's producers like myself, and there's a couple of DJs in there. So I mean, it's 3 separate things, but we're trying to branch out.
Yeah. If someone wanted to be part of Film Noir, let's say I was a young buck, I was like about, I don't know, 8 years younger, and I wanted to be part of it, what sort of credentials would I need to have?
It's hard to say because people talk about us as if we're a exclusive
Members club only.
Exclusive members club, like the Soho House or something. But it's not like that. It's like we're only a part of a group because we were friends first. Like we were all friends before we started Film Noir. I don't want to say be talented because that's vague as hell, but you got to be good at what you do. Be our friend, and who knows, maybe one day you'll get the
The black card.
the black card, the film noir black card, yeah.
Amazing. Well, you know, I'll be scratching up getting my skills up and ready, and I'll drop you a line. All right, I'm so excited for you, Oshi. I think 2016 is going to be massive. Tell me what you have in store, because I know you've been in the studio with someone like Omarion. What else?
Oh yeah, back in LA, I got to meet Omarion, which was crazy because that's the first big artist I've met. That blew my mind. I got into the studio actually, and we sat down, and I was sitting there, I was shaking. I was like, what do I do? What do I say? But like, he was chill. He was really cool. And I whipped out my laptop, played a few instrumentals, and he started singing over one of them. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be a hit. And he was like, yo, put that on my, well, I'm gonna try to do it in his accent. In fact, no, I'm not gonna try to do it in his accent.
Yeah, just in case he's listening.
But no, he was like, put it on my USB. I was like, okay. Because I'm gonna say okay to anything right now. I'm starstruck. But yeah, I put it on his USB, and right now I hope and pray that he's working on it, because the riffs he was doing over it are crazy.
And what next? What else is 2016 got in store for you?
2016, there's a lot of things that I want to do, but right now what I have planned is I have a little mini project coming out, because at the beginning of the year, which is like 10 days ago, but beginning of the year, I started feeling down again. So I was like, let me get out of my feelings and put it into something productive. So I started a little project called A Thing by Oshi, and I have no idea when the release date is going to be, but it's coming soon. I'm going to tell you that, it's coming soon. We'll
look forward to that, and I know you're heading back out to LA, so no doubt we shall have to follow you on the socials to see what other stars you're going to be getting in the studio with.
I'm going to get in the studio with everybody, Drake included. I'm going to hug Drake this year. I'm hugging Drake this year.
Hugging Drake, yes. That's a year goal if ever there was one. You've got us exclusive to ride out on. Tell me about this track.
This track, my friend Jamal, he sent me the original track, which he produced. And I was like, okay, I'm going to produce this as well with you. So he sent me over the stems, he sent me over the vocals, and I stuck it over a beat I was making whilst I was on FaceTime to him. And he was just like, when I started playing it, he started screaming. He was like, yo, this is the one. This is the one. I was like, okay, so let me finish it. Obviously, I haven't finished it yet, but this is a rough version of what me and Jamal call in Croydon.
Brilliant. Oshi, it's such a pleasure. I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much for passing by.
Thank you for having me.
This is the moment. We're going to look back at this in 10 years' time when you're 27 and I don't even want to talk about how old I am. And we'll just high-five each other while we drink mojitos and celebrate your Grammy.
Mojitos, yeah.
Yeah. Rolling out on In Croydon.
Babe, there's a problem, 'cause I'm way too scared to call, and you might get me to stay up in Croydon, in Croydon.